first boarding party suited up at 0600 on a cold February morning at the Europa Station docking hub, from which a relay tether had been extended to the ship's primary airlock, a structure the size of a small office building, designed for Kaveth physiology, which meant it was 3 meters taller than any human being and twice as wide. Dr. Chen led the team personally. She had assembled 41 people, not bureaucrats, not military liaisons, not political observers, engineers, physicists, materials scientists, 3 xenolinguists for the interface systems, a metallurgist named Dr. Osei Bonsu, who had once written a paper arguing that Kaveth alloy composition implied manufacturing processes that shouldn't be thermodynamically possible, and who had spent the subsequent years being professionally mocked for it. She had found him on page 7 of a search for experts in Kaveth materials. She had called him at 2 a.m. He had answered on the first ring. "Pack a bag," she said. "You're going to find out if you were right." He was on a shuttle 4 hours later. The airlock opened without resistance. It had been left intentionally unsealed for human access. Another small condescension from the Kaveth, as if to say, "We're not even bothering to lock it." The boarding party stepped through into the primary corridor, and for a long moment, no one spoke. The ship was dark, emergency lighting only, a deep violet that matched Kaveth visual spectrum rather than human, which meant it lit everything at the edge of visibility and turned the corridors into something between a submarine and a cathedral. The corridors were vast, 8 meters wide, 6 meters tall, running in smooth curves that had no sharp corners anywhere. The walls were not metal in any conventional sense. They were a composite that, under the beam of Bonsu's analysis torch, returned spectral signatures that made him stop walking entirely. "This is the alloy," he said. His voice was very quiet. Chen stopped beside him. "The one from your paper?" "The one that shouldn't be possible, yes." He ran the torch over the wall again. "It's not just the alloy. Look at the grain structure. The molecular lattice it's actively organized. The material is semi-crystalline at ambient temperature, but the crystal lattice is oriented, deliberately oriented. It's not cast, it's not forged, it's grown under a magnetic field of a very specific configuration while being exposed to." He stopped. "Bonsu," Chen said. "Sorry." He took a breath. "This wall is smarter than anything we have ever built, and it is the floor, the ceiling, the structural frame, and the armor, simultaneously, because the lattice transitions function by function depending on which layer you're analyzing." He looked at Chen. "They gave us this because they thought it was worthless," he said. "This material alone is 50 years of metallurgical advancement. Just the wall." They were 4 meters into the ship. It got more interesting from there. The weapons bays were empty. The Kaveth had removed the actual weapon emitters. But the targeting architecture was still there. The fire control computers were still there. The targeting sensor arrays, passive systems the Kaveth apparently had not considered worth removing, were still there. Xenolinguist Priya Nair, kneeling in the targeting bay with an interface tablet and 3 years of Kaveth computational language on a hard drive, spent 40 minutes working through the system handshake protocols before she looked up and said with enormous calm, "I'm in the weapons computer." Chen crossed the bay in 12 steps.